This movie is about entering data, and we're going to look at a number of different data types. And we're going to find that Excel will format our content as we're entering our content accordingly. We can enter currency, fractions, percentages, decimals, scientific notation, and symbols. And depending upon how we enter the data, will then determine how Excel formats that data. So this movie is about entering data, and it's entering data in specific ways so that Excel will automatically format that data in the way that we want it to be formatted in. I'm in column B under the currency heading, B10, the active cell. If I enter just a number, 25, control enter, I'll get a number. I'll have the general formatting applied, which is the default formatting that's established for the cells when I open a new workbook. If instead I want this number to be shown as a currency, and I want Excel to format it as I enter the value, I precede the 25 with a $sign 25, control enter, and now that's expressed as a currency. The formula bar has the content of the cell, which is the number 25, and it's displayed, formatted as currency. It is a value, it's a number, it's right justified. So that $sign is not a character that's contained within a text string. It is displayed as a formatting style for that number. So I can look at it and know that it's a currency. I'm going to tab over twice to get the column D. With fractions, you have to be a little careful, because if I just enter what really is a fraction, 3 divided by 8, control enter, Excel thinks that I want a date. It's got March 8, 2012. That's not what I want. I want to enter a fraction. So how do you do that? In order to enter a fraction where Excel knows that it is a fraction and not a date, you have to start your fractions by inputting a 0, a space, and then 3 divided by 8, control enter, and now I have a fraction. The formula bar shows 0.375, which is the decimal equivalent of 3/8, and it is no longer displayed as a date. So I can automatically get Excel to format this as a number, display it as a fraction, and not interpret my data entry as a date. Tabbing over twice again, percentages are a little bit of a strange animal. I'll start with entering a number, 15, down arrow, and then enter 0.15, down arrow. And I'm going to show you that both of these things will be interpreted as a percentage if the formatting for the cell is a percentage, and both of them will be displayed as 15%. So this third entry, I'm going to enter this percentage in a way that tells Excel that what I really want is a percentage and not a whole number or a decimal. So I'll enter 15, the percent sign, control enter, and I see 15%. It's right justified, it's a value. But now watch what happens when I enter 0.15, control enter, it still shows it to be 15%. So once you establish the formatting for a cell to be a percentage, whether you enter that percentage as a decimal or a whole number, it'll be displayed as a percentage either way. Up arrow twice, tabbing over twice. Decimals. Decimals are basically a regular number. I can enter 0.15 again, control enter, and it displays as 0.15. Nothing tricky about that. There is a way to go into the advanced option settings, Alt F-T. In the advanced option settings, I'll left click that. Under editing options, the second choice allows me to automatically insert a decimal point. I'll left click that checkbox and leave the decimal places at 2. Click OK. Arrow down, and instead of entering 0.15 this time, I'm going to enter 15, control enter, and I get the same result. I get the decimal place inserted into the numerical string where I've directed Excel to put it. This can potentially save some keystrokes as you're entering data. If you know you want a decimal place inserted into all the numbers you're entering, you can have Excel automatically put it there to save you from having to type it yourself. Arrowing up once, tabbing over twice again. Scientific notation. Just a note, I've taken off the option to have Excel automatically insert a decimal place, so that won't occur going forward here. Scientific notation is automatically applied by Excel when you have a number that's 13 or more numerical characters in length. I'll put one in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, Control Enter. I get scientific notation. Scientific notation can be a little bit annoying because it automatically pops up if you have larger numbers. I'll down arrow and enter that number again. If you have scientific notation pop up, you can format the cells to be displaying the number differently after the fact. Or if you know you're going to be entering long numbers in your worksheet, you can format the cells ahead of time by using a number of different formatting options. I'll select this one, which is the formatting style that inserts the comma separators. And this way you won't get the scientific notation to be automatically applied to your numbers that are large. Up arrow, tabbing over twice. Symbols. Symbols can be found under the Insert tab, under the Symbol command button. There's a huge number of symbols that can be utilized in your spreadsheet. Some of them are useful more than others, depends upon what you're doing. Under the recently used symbols, I have the copyright and the registered trademark symbol. I'll choose the copyright symbol, left-click Insert, and close. I'll press Enter. That can be useful from time to time, but one thing I want to show you about the symbols is that even though some of them look like numbers, I'll left-click 7/8, click Insert, close. This is not a number in terms of that you can perform mathematical calculations on it. It's a text display of the fraction 7/8. So that's a cross-section of entering data. We saw where we can control the way Excel formats the content as we're entering the content, depending upon the way we actually enter that content. We can have it display numbers in terms of currency, fractions, percentages. We can have Excel automatically insert a decimal place where we want it. We can override the scientific notation or utilize the scientific notation if we like, and insert a lot of symbols that can be useful for various purposes, and in some cases there is no other way to express, for instance, the copyright symbol other than just using the copyright symbol.